Hello friends, this is your fourth lecture of Elective Hot 355. In previous lecture, we were learned about classification of greenhouse, and in that classification of greenhouse, we were completed first two topic, that is classification of greenhouse based on shape and based on utility. But in today's lecture, we are going to continue remaining part of this topic. The third type of classification of greenhouse is greenhouse type based on construction. The type of construction is predominantly influenced by the structural material and covering material. The span of the house generally decide selection of structural member and their constructions. If span is higher, and erection of such type of greenhouse, stronger should be the material and more structural members are used to make sturdy truss type of frames of the greenhouse. And if span is small or is smaller type of span type of greenhouse, generally simple design like hoops can be followed. Therefore, based on construction, generally greenhouse are classified as three main types, that is first wooden frame structure, second pipe frame structure, and third truss frame structure. Then first we have discussed about wooden frame type of structures. In such type of greenhouse, span is less than 6 meter and only wooden frame structures are used. In this type of greenhouse, side posts and columns are constructed of wood without the use of truss. Generally, pine wood is commonly used for erection of such type of structures because pine wood is inexpensive and possess the required strength. If pine wood is not available, the locally available timber with having good strength, good durability and mechanability can also be used for construction of such type of structures. Then second type is pipe frame structures. In this type of structure, clear span is around 12 meter and generally pipes are used for construction of such type of structures. Generally, the side post, columns, cross ties and purlins are constructed by using of pipes. In this type, trusses are not used for construction and pipe components are not interconnected but depends on the attachment of sash bar for their support. Then we have discussed about third type, that is truss frame structures. If the greenhouse span is greater than or equal to 15 meter, then truss frame structures are used. Then in this type of greenhouse, flat steel, tubular steel or angular iron is welded together to form a truss. And generally in this structure, truss are working as a support member under compression and cords are working as a support member under tension. Then in these structures, angle irons and purlins running throughout the length of the greenhouses and bolted to each truss. And generally, columns are used in this structure when structure is very wide truss frame, that is 21.3 meter or more than 21.3 meter. And most of the glass houses are constructed of truss frame type of structures and these frames are best suited for prefabrications. Then let's discuss about types of greenhouse according to covering material. Covering materials are one of the major and important components of greenhouse structures. If we think about, covering materials have direct influence on the greenhouse effect inside the polyhouse because they alter the air temperature inside the structures. The type of frames and method of fixing are also varies according to covering materials. And based on the type of covering material, the greenhouse are classified as different ways, that is glass house, polyhouse, rigid panel greenhouse, then net house, and last one is lath house. According to covering material, the first we will discuss about glass greenhouse. As its names indicate, glass is used as a covering material for this type of structures, so that it is called as glass house. This is the first and oldest covering materials among all type of greenhouse structures. In this type, glass panels are fitted with the help of wooden frame or metal frame, and it can be made any shape and size, that is lean-to type, even span type, ridges and furrow type. Such designs are possible to construction of such type of polyhouse. In this type of polyhouse is effective in a winter cultivation because in winter season it protects the crop from cold bite. But due to increasing the heat in summer season, due to high heat intensity, it increases the heat inside the polyhouse, and due to increasing of heat inside the polyhouse, it becomes unfit for commercial cultivation in a summer season. The main advantage of this type of greenhouse is it having greater light intensity and high infiltration rate, which leads to lower down the interior humidity and help to protect the crop from attack of insects and pests. It having some disadvantages, that is high initial cost of erection. Such type of structures are difficult to construction and frequent damaging of glass panels due to strong winds and some other discouraging factors. Let's discuss about polyhouse, that means plastic film greenhouse. Flexible plastic film, that is polyethylene, polyester and polyvinyl chloride, are used as a covering material for this type of structures, so that it is called as polyhouse or plastic film greenhouse. Plastics are used as a covering material for greenhouses have become popular because they are cheap, that means low cost, and cost of heating is less than as compared to glass house. The main disadvantage of this type of structures, the plastic film is having its short life. For example, the best quality ultraviolet stabilized film having the durability of only for 4 years. And if you think about quinset type of greenhouse as well as gutter connected greenhouse is suitable for using this type of covering materials. Then next type is rigid panel greenhouse. Polyvinyl chloride rigid panel, fiberglass reinforced plastic, acrylic and polycarbonate rigid panels are used as a covering material for such type of greenhouse. And according to using of such type of covering material, so it is called as rigid panel greenhouse. The panels of such type of greenhouse, generally it is used in quinset and ridges and furrow type of frames. There are some advantages of this type of polyhouse. First, the material of this type of polyhouse is more resistant to breakage and light intensity is uniform throughout the greenhouse as compared to glass and plastic polyhouse. Second, high grade panels having long life, even up to 20 years. And if we think about this type of structures having some disadvantages, that is, the panels of this type of structures is tend to collect dust as well as it harbor the growth of algae, which will result the darkening of the panels and subsequent reduction of light transmission inside the polyhouse. And due to lack of light inside the polyhouse, it affects photosynthesis and growth of the plants, and it will result to getting the lower yields. And such type of structures is significantly danger for fire hazards. The last type of classification of greenhouse is classification based on cost. According to based on cost of constructions, the greenhouse are classified as three main types. That is, first one, low cost greenhouse, that means GH1. Second, medium cost greenhouse, that means GH2. And third, high cost greenhouse as well as climate controlled greenhouse, that means GH3. Then let's first we will discuss about low cost greenhouse, that means GH1. If we think about such type of structures are very simple in construction and require very low initial cost. These structures are made up of supporting with the help of GI pipe, angle iron, steel tubing, or also we can use as a bamboo for erection of such type of structures. These structures, the covering materials are used as UV stabilized plastic films with having 200 micron thickness. And such type of structures does not have any control system like heating and cooling system. If we think about designs of these structures, the side all have insect proof net, and these insect proof nets are grown up to the 5 to 6 feet height. And this insect proof net, it prevent the entry of insect and pest inside the polyhouse and protect your crops from attack of insects and pests. And generally, these structures are recommended for only mild climate areas. Then we have to discuss about next type, medium cost greenhouse, that means GH2. In this type of structures, generally made up of GI pipe like climate control greenhouse, but only exhaust fan with evaporative cooling pads are provided to maintain favorable temperature and humidity during summer season. If we think about the cost of erection of such type of polyhouse is 50% as compared to climate control greenhouse. If we think about the working principles of such type of greenhouse, generally in during summer season, humidity inside the polyhouse is always low. And by using of this system, the polyhouse is cooled by using exhaust fans and evaporative cooling pad or overhead ventilation. For to reduce the temperature inside the polyhouse, generally two methods are used. First, by using of fan and pad system, and second, by using of overhead ventilations. Generally, most of the farmers they are using fan and pad type of system. If you use fan and pad type of system, in this method, the exhaust fan is placed in one wall and evaporative cooling pad is placed in a opposite wall. The hot air is expelled through exhaust fan and entering air is cooled by evaporative pad. And by this method, the temperature of greenhouse can be reduced by near about 3 to 12 degree Celsius. And by this method, there is a possible we can control the climatic condition inside the polyhouse and possible to provide optimum temperature and humidity for growth of the crops. This is the third type and last part of this topic, that is high cost greenhouse, that means GS3. In such type of greenhouse is constructed to achieve higher degree of climate control inside the polyhouse, and it helps to provide optimum climatic conditions for favorable growth of the crops. In such type of polyhouse, having many facilities like auto control mechanism, that is auto heating system. With the help of auto heating system, it helps to raise the temperature inside the polyhouse and help to provide optimum temperature for growth of the crops. It also having auto evaporative cooling system, and with the help of auto evaporative cooling system, it helps to lower down the temperature inside the polyhouse as per the requirement of crop, and it helps to boost the growth of the crops. Besides from this polyhouse having some humidification system and drip irrigation system inside the polyhouse. These all are the types of polyhouse we are learned in this chapter, that is classification of polyhouse according to its shape, according to covering material, according to cost of construction, and according to its utilities. So today we have stopped here, and if you have any doubt we can share me. Thank you for your attention.